Okay, Rob Green here, the CEO of the GRM Group, on the morning of Friday, the 29th of August. And for those of you who are listening to this that are not sports fans, this will mean nothing to you. But if you are an NFL fan like me and a Green Bay Packer fan in particular, as I am, it's been an incredible morning to wake up to, because one of the greatest players playing the game at the moment, one of the big superstars, Micah Parsons, has been traded to the Green Bay Packers from Dallas Cowboys. Brilliant contract, brilliant deal. And what these recruits always do for me is, because my career has been in recruitment for 20 plus years, whenever it's sport related or it's in the legal market, whatever it is, I always look at the impact. And I think this would make a particularly interesting. Well, the first thing that popped into my head was, after celebrating, obviously, that we've got one of the best players out there at the moment in an area that we really, really need to improve upon, was really going down into the nitty-gritty of the recruitment process. What's the process? How did it all pan out? They had massive public fallings out. They're losing one of their star players. I've seen law firms do the same thing, lose some of their key billers, and it sets you back years. So I wanted to try and sort of get some notes out there. I've got some things written down which I'm going to read out, but really, we can learn in senior legal recruitment. We can learn a lot from this Dallas Cowboys Micah Parsons debacle. So Micah Parsons, all-pro defensive end from the Dallas Cowboys, has gone to Green Bay Packers. It's a huge deal, $120 million guaranteed, $188 million over 4 years. It's a humongous deal. He is one of the elite players in the league at the moment, and he's joined my team, so I'm obviously delighted. But I think it offers really profound lessons for us when we're looking at team structure, succession planning, who holds the power in a relationship, and it's something about symbiotic relationships within recruits that I have been talking about for a very long time. It's a humongous, high-profile talent management failure. It brings in bad egos, poor communication, dysfunctional negotiation practices. The whole story, have a look at it online if you're interested. It is absolutely fascinating. So the Parsons saga began as a contract dispute, and then it just escalated. Public relations, a nightmare. But it's ended well for me, well for Micah, not so well for Dallas Cowboys. One of the things that I was writing down here and I'm looking at the moment is the communication failure. It starts with the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, the head honcho, in many cases the chairperson or the managing partner of a law firm. Jerry Jones, very famous. If anybody watches those documentaries on Netflix, he decided to directly negotiate with Parsons, excluding his very high-profile and high-powered agent, David Mulugeta, I think his name is. And that violates league principles, fundamental negotiation principles as well. Parsons explicitly stated privately many times and then publicly that he no longer wanted to be holding these closed-door negotiations without his representation there. It's worth pointing out that Jerry Jones is an 88-year-old billionaire and Micah Parsons is 26 years old. He wants his representation there, people who know are going to ask the right questions. And there's a common mistake certainly in partner level recruitment, where, especially when you're dealing with M&A lawyers who just feel like they are the negotiators and they need to cut out the agent, forgetting that the person with the talent and the client base and all the skills might want their agent there. Something worth remembering. So ego came into it, massive ego. Jerry Jones's approach became really personal, and he really started coming out into the press with saying, basically airing their dirty laundry. And this is how they've always done their business. And that's another failing of businesses, and certainly law firms that we've worked with, where it's always been done that way. It doesn't work anymore. You've got to look at different things. They need to treat everybody as an individual. This ego-driven approach that the Cowboys took kind of really mirrors what often happens in law firm leadership and when they're hiring partners and teams. So, and then also how do you retain exceptional talent? Well, first of all, start treating everybody as an individual as the number one rule. So how do we get through this, and what can we take out of it for legal recruitment and senior legal recruitment? Well, I'm going to be talking to my teams later on, and I'm going to be using Micah Parsons as the lesson. I'm going to be looking at his record. That's what we do at GRM. We look at the lawyers and their breakdown of their record, their remuneration, the number of cases that they've been done, the number of deals that they've done, blah, 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 blah. We look at how we isolate each person of exactly how good they are and how impactful they are to that organization. And then by trying to play this all out in public, by trying to skirt around what the actual talent wanted and had requested, it just led to a complete breakdown, and it was only ever going to go one way. It also appeared that publicly, it didn't appear that the Cowboys had given a really strict negotiation frameworks. You need a clear timeline and process exceptions. You need an involvement of every representation that people want, both sides. You've got to document everything, every point, every part of the agreement, and then you've got to have an objective and a clear criteria to get that to completion. These are the 4 ways to negotiate. Everybody knows that, but maybe that's been missed sometimes, especially when emotions get involved. Don't leave everything to the last minute. These guys tried to push it. The season starts next week. Everybody ran out of time, and now, most importantly, the franchise don't have time to get someone else. Well, they'll never get someone else that's good, but they don't really have time to start looking around, and they'll fall into the same trap that Manchester United seem to always fall into, which is they negotiate badly, they fall into it, they lose all the power, and they end up overpaying. Early engagement is very important. Direct engagement with your talent is recognizing that this is now a symbiotic relationship, that you need the talent as much as the talent needs you. And in fact, the talent can go anywhere. Remember that. Big, big, important thing. 4, regardless of how senior, look at the support and the career path that they're going to need to get to where their objectives are. Talk less about the company objectives and talk about that person's objectives throughout the negotiation, right? Bring in the company later, make the person feel very special, make them feel wanted, make them feel needed. Really, really think about their impact on the organization as a whole. This is something that's been clearly missed in this negotiation. And ultimately what they've done is they've set themselves back. Well, one commentator I was watching earlier, the Franchise Guide, check it out on YouTube if you're interested in negotiations within the sporting world, said it set them back 5 years. And I've seen that with law firms as well, and legal teams. If you let your ego get in the way and you really, really let your generational talent leave, it can set you back massively. And on another video, I'll talk about how that's happened to GRM in the past, as you go through cycles. So basically, let's look at wrapping this all up. I'm obviously delighted. My team have got one of the best players in the league. Absolutely delighted. But this has been a categoric error from start to finish. It has been it's been a case study in how not to negotiate with one of your best talents, and how then ultimately you will lose them if you do it being stuck in the same way. It's been a case study in how not to recognize the fact that this is a symbiotic relationship, that the talent needs you as much as you need the talent. It's 50-50 these days. So take some lessons from this. It's there's a lot we can learn from different industries, and when it comes to talent and retaining that talent, this is absolutely vital that communication is always open and very clear.